Greetings. I'm going to show you all how simple it is to make frankincense tea. This is not like my discovery. Frankincense has been being used for many, many years. It's an Arabic remedy for healing the entire body. It's an ancient remedy. It's considered God's gold. You can buy frankincense in many different places. Make sure you get the good food grade. Make sure that you're buying from places that sell products that you trust. I myself like to get this particular frankincense. I've been using it for since 1997. So I trust it. I'm still here. It's all natural. It's not organic. Back then we weren't being scared with organic and GMO. And it's also not, it's it's product of Egypt, packed in Miami, Florida. It's an island company. And from my research and how I feel, a lot of the island companies or companies from other countries, they're not about the same fuckery that the United States is. And so their products are a little more guaranteed to help you to be the real deal. So I just have this simple bag of frankincense. I buy this at Food Town in Palm Beach, Florida. I'm here in Kansas. So I go home and I get more frankincense when I'm home, because I haven't yet found it here in Kansas City or Topeka, Kansas. But if you all know where it is, let me know, because I'm starting to run low, as you see. But a lot of people take these frankincense and they use it on charcoal discs to burn like an incense, for fragrance, for removing bad vibes and spirits. And that's all fine and dandy too. I do the same. But remember, God's gift and healing is in everything presented to us. So some things that we're using, maybe do some research and find out its discoveries and how it could benefit you even more. So this here frankincense tea was something that I had to start using to help me. Like, say for instance, and not even say for instance, what really happened was I was pregnant, went to the hospital, gave birth to my 14-year-old son, and I had resistance from the hospital on following my birthing plan. They wanted to do what they wanted to do. And one of the arguments was I didn't need an IV. And they were certain I was going to need an IV because everyone does. They get an IV just in case. Well, at the time, my ex-husband was out of the military, and I know I had Medicaid, but I wasn't trying to run up a bill. And I know that I don't need a PICC line ran unless I need a PICC line ran. So we had this battle between patient and nurse and doctor of what was best for me. And I was talked into by my parents to just go with the flow and allow them to run a PICC line. So they put the IV, they tried here. Now, if you can see my veins, they might look like they're big because you can see them, but they're really small and tiny. I'm a small person, and they roll. So every time someone draws my blood or does something, they got to use the little butterfly needle. And 9 times out of 10, they're breaking my vein. Got to be stuck 5 or 6 times. So she tried to get me here and it didn't work. So then she tried to get me here and it didn't work. So she ended up putting this PICC line on the side of my arm. I'm right-handed. I thought that that was the most idiotic thing to do, because as I needed to use my right hand, I'm going to use it. But I also realized that was a way to try to restrict me and limit me, and I'm limitless. So it didn't happen. And it probably backfired on both of us, because I ended up receiving a blood clot. I personally feel the blood clot was a result of it being left in too long. However, I had a blood clot in my arm that was starting to travel. And they wanted to watch it, have me come back in and do ultrasounds after ultrasounds to watch and see and make sure it's not traveling to a major artery. And I, like I said, don't like to run up medical bills. Didn't care for that. So I went and got my old man Frank, made me a drink, got rid of them blood clots, got taken care of. So my niece this year gave birth to her fourth beautiful baby girl. And she had to have a C-section. And she ended up getting blood clots in her groin. And they were traveling to her lungs. Now, being that I experienced it after childbirth, one, I knew the pain, emotionally, physically, mentally, the suffering. I knew the possibilities of postpartum depression, not being able to nurse your baby, not being able to be there to care for your baby, which there's separation anxiety that can result from that. And my baby girl was in the emergency room, then the hospital, ICU, and I'm in Kansas. It was driving me crazy. But I knew I had to just help her out. So made her up some tea. And that resurfaced this old-fashioned recipe. And like most things that I do, I always think it's best to share. Because you may not want to buy frankincense tea from me. But this tea might be what saves you or someone you love. So I'm sharing it, because sharing is caring. And Nicole is victory for the people. And Adwele means God sent me here. And then my mom threw ebony in there. So it's got to be like, you got to go for those ones that are black. I find my name very funny. It's a pun intended, seriously. However, I embrace who I am, and I realize that I must do what my purpose is to do. And my purpose here is to be victory for you all, to help serve you all, help take care of you all. If I'm not the one, at least be the light that shines the way. So here we go. It's really, really simple. Now, I choose to make this size jar, because I then transfer it into this size jar. This is my frankincense tea, and this has a flavor added to it so that the kids enjoy it. Because frankincense is spicy, and so how it smells, its aroma, it's got that robust taste too, like a spice, like a nutmeg or ginger, and so, or maybe fennel, like licorice. It's not that ooh delicious one. Now, for some recipes, I'm not going to give out all of them, but the particular one that I like to use is really strong. But the reason being is, again, it's to help do some things that we needed to do. So I tend to use frankincense with lemongrass. This lemongrass is homegrown, so I can't tell you where to buy lemongrass like this, only through me. But if you know where you can get some fresh lemongrass from, this is the way to go. Now, make sure you're getting lemongrass and not just grass or weeds. But back to the frankincense tea. I use this size jar because I make this size bottle. And I believe this bottle is about 32 ounces. We should have an ounce a day. Not too much more, because this is being used as medicine, not just something for fun or to drink. You've got to know what you're doing when you're doing what you're doing, because you don't want to over-medicate and you don't want to create a resistance within your body. You want to make sure that you're doing it right. So that's one reason why I sell my products, because a lot of people didn't study the way I did. They don't know the proper measurements or grams or doses for people and what you need. So right here, here's a free nugget, not chicken, a golden one. An ounce of frankincense tea a day. Don't exceed that, because you're getting a little bit too much. And you don't want to overpower your body with healing. You want to take it and let your body do it naturally. So the best thing to do is drink your tea. I personally think that you should drink the frankincense tea in the morning, because it's going to give you the energy and things you need. If you drink it at night, you might stay up a long time. It's going to give you that, woo, what am I needing to do? It's golden. Think about the sun and gold, because that's actually where our colors come from. That's another video. I'll share that with you another day. But just consider when they tell you how the sun rises in gold, this is for the risings. You want to use a few crystals. Now, I personally use a crystal for each one of us. There are 6. I shared a recipe saying 20 grams. So if you have a scale, you can weigh it out and see if it's 20 grams. Let's see if it's 20 grams. Looks like my battery might be dead. I just used it too. Well, either way, I don't need the scale, because I use about 6. If they're small crystals, like I like them this size. 1, 2, 3. Oops, you know what? Pardon me. Let's so this video isn't long and drawn out, let's start our water. Now, you want your water to be boiling. I've already did a little cheat. I'm gonna make some tea for the family. I'm gonna bring the camera a little closer so you can see. So I'm making tea for the family. There we go. That's just for us to drink for fun. And I had already started my flavoring of my tea, so that's why my water is red. But I only made like a cup of tea to go along with the frankincense tea. And now I'm steeping more water. Actually, it's going to come to a boil, because when I add it to this jar, ooh, I like the way that sounds. You want to make sure that you fill this jar with boiling water and then put the top on. You do not want to use cold water, tap water, but you want to boil the resin. someone was like, you making teeth? This is frankincense resin. Resin is a wax, the sap of the tree. They tap into the tree, starts to pour out. They catch it and they let it dry out, and it forms these crystals. Now, you boil the resin, and resin is wax, which is sticky. So you make sure you put it in a glass jar so it'll be easier to clean out. This jar I use all the time, and as you can see, it's clean. So it's not that you put it in there and then you're gonna have a problem. No, you won't. It'll be perfect. So I've already dropped 3 in there. 4, 5, 6. Now some of them were a little small, so I'm gonna put a little extra just for to grow on. And that's it. You don't need that much. Now if you're gonna make a jar this size, then of course you use more. The best thing that you want to make sure you do is that, I'm gonna put a few more in there because those were kind of tiny. You place the frankincense in the jar first. Why I say that is because when that boiling water pours in there, it's like, ooh, it's in there and it's ready to go. But once you pour the boiling water in the glass jar, glass kind of tends to cool things off a little faster than needed. So the resin doesn't get that much direct heat as if it did getting poured on versus submerged in. I know it may sound like that really doesn't matter, but in all technicality, processes do matter, and you've got to trust the process. So we'll wait for the water to boil. Now my flavoring of my tea is hibiscus and blueberry and rosemary. Hibiscus because we need an iron. Rosemary because we need to focus. And blueberry because we need to make sure that we're regulating the energies. Also, for me, personally, I also made this tea to help me with my iron because I've been having some female issues and hemorrhaging. So this is going to help balance me. This tea helps with, I think I said blood clots, and I shared that story. Also, superb for asthma and allergies, sinuses and stuff. That's why I usually use the lemongrass, because we're here an asthmatic family and we fight asthma naturally. So to make sure that my daughter doesn't spring up an asthma attack, or myself, then I make a drink so that we can stay constant and consistent. We don't use albuterol. We don't use nebulizers. We have not used prednisone. Whoop, whoop, thank God. Maybe since she was like 11. She's 19 today. It's been a journey fighting asthma naturally, but we have won. We have won. People who might have seen my son play basketball, and when he's sick, he can't breathe, I think ahead and I bring some tea, and it helps. So I'm also an advocate of essential oils. So I have many go-to things that we go to and use right away. But this is one of our daily regimens that I think could benefit many households. So you hear the water over there getting all ready. I don't know. Let me see. You see the little steam. I have my camera set over here because I'm trying to get the practice and knack of my recording scene when I'm cooking and prepping and doing other things as well. Because we're going to give you more videos to show you how living holistically, a single mom, family of 5, can be done. It's not too expensive. Health is your wealth. You're your greatest asset. You got to invest in you. Self-care is the best care. If you don't do it, who will? These doctors sure not. Not putting anybody down. I got doctors in my family, and I'll call them and I'll ask them questions too. But taking their medicines, that's something I'm just not going to do. So that's why I said let me go ahead and put it on, because the water needs to take time. But while we do that, I'm going to have my drink. You see how this might concede a little, some of the frankincense floating, little white particles. Because what frankincense does is it's going to get white. This tea is going to get hazy. It's going to look like, what is that? Don't worry. Just trust and know it's good. You're going to need to let this tea sit at least 17 hours before you can drink it. So when my bottle gets about this low, I start another jar because I know it's what we needed. What I've also started doing, instead of making 2 separate batches, is making my flavor that I want and then making it with my water, so that when I fill this jar will be ready to go, versus I got to do something else to make it. Now, sometimes for the kids, I make it a little sweet. I add some honey or maple just to give it a little sweetness, because, I mean, my baby's 5, another 7, and you got to get them to drink it. I know they are understanding that this is what they have. They're holistic, have been all their life. They know no other way. And I just don't want to ever make them feel like taking care of themselves is the worst they could possibly do, all because it doesn't taste good. So if it benefits you to add a little sweetener, there are many options that you can do. They even carry apple honey. So you got choices. You do not have to go to that sugar. We have raw sugar and brown sugar here too. Make sure it's organic, non-GMO. Don't be bamboozled. I'm going to do this with some honey dough. And I thought I wanted to use my neem honey, but maybe not, maybe not, maybe not, because you don't see it too well. Good catch, huh? Let's see. While we're here talking, we can show you options. You've got this honey. It's very expensive. I don't put it in tea because it's so expensive. It's my emergency honey. You see, it's sealed. Until we really, really need it, we don't use it. Thank heavens above, we haven't really, really needed it. This is like that honey for antibiotics. Then you have this honey. This right here is thebomb.com. One of my favorite honeys. The kids don't care for it because of that neem taste. Now, I don't know if you ever smelled neem. It tastes just like it smells. But with honey, it's a little bit better. So, let's pull this over. Let's grab the camera and let you see one more time. Your water is ready. It's rolling. That's how you want it to be. You want to make sure that it's at a, my apologies, a rolling boil. And And why I say rolling boil is because that makes it boiling and it's hot. You'll see, as soon as you take it off the burner, it stops rolling. Hence why you want it boiling and rolling. With a steady hand, just go ahead and pour it on in. I'm usually perfect with my measurements. I overdid it by just a smidget. I'm gonna add that to that pot. It can't hurt it. So after it's like that, I didn't put the sweetener in. I'm gonna use some local pure honey. Make it do what it do. Local to me is the best honey that you should ever use because it grabs the allergens and the antihistamines out of your air, what you suffer from, and helps put it back in you and help you create what's needed inside naturally to fight what's out there that's hurting you. So when you go buy the packaged store honey from New Zealand, ain't nowhere near Kansas City or Kansas, Topeka, Kansas. So what I want with this, but I do know what I want with this. In the meantime, while I'm sitting here fighting these germs, people around here sneezing and stuff, this is what I want with this. I want some local honey. And my beekeeper is pretty cool guys. They're brothers and I love them. So I get from them. If you're interested, they're in Perry, Kansas, not too far. So you know Mary Poppins says a spoonful of sugar. Well, Nicole Purse says a spoonful of honey. That's all I'm gonna put in here in this jar. That spoonful of honey is gonna help sweeten this tea. Just so you know, I also use silver spoons, silver utensils, especially when dealing with cooking, because silver is a great healing property too. So they tricked us talking about silver spoons and all this, when truth and all, we need to be eating off of silver spoons instead of that nickel. Because every bite you take, every stir you make, every step I take, I love that song. It's helping you. And that's what you want to do with your life. You want to make sure you do the things in your life that help you, not hurt you. So, this is simple frankincense tea. Put the top on and seal it. I don't seal it too tight right away because if you are aware of the food safety and handlings, when you seal stuff hot, it holds things in. And one of the things it holds in is this lid. It will make it so hard to open that you might mess up spilling your tea trying to get in it to drink your tea. So once it's cooled down, I will screw on the top. But I do place the top on and then I sit the ring around it so that it kind of helps it bind together. Now, that's done. The tea is pretty much ready. Well, in 17 hours, that is. And you know what? For the heck of it, because my daughter's gonna need this no matter what. I'll let it do what it do. Put some lemongrass in there too. Now, see, my lemongrass is fresh, grown, no pesticides, No chemicals. Just, it smells so good. I might have to make some pasta tonight with lemongrass. And it breaks. So easy. Because it's been dried out. Now, the formula I had sent my niece is not this one. She got another because she needed it for her. This one is one that you can kind of drink every day. It'll help with your iron. You won't be anemic. That's what I was trying to fight from the hemorrhaging. It'll help my breathing. Frankincense helps with blood clots. Frankincense also helps with fibroids. That's what I was suffering from. So it's helping me from head to toe. Frankincense, and for those who burn it, you already know, creates that atmosphere and energy that helps you go with the flow. It's soothing with depression, anxiety, and so forth. Frankincense helps with arthritis, pains, aches, because you know frankincense was like God's gold. But gold doesn't make you happy. Go figure. So I hope you enjoy this video and enjoy making your frankincense. I'm gonna figure out how you can contact me. I could do it here. 785-422-6949. That's my business line. You can call me or you can text me. If you have any questions or want to know any more information about this recipe, if you missed something, like maybe I didn't share something that will help you understand it better, just hit me up. Ask me a question. I'd be more than glad to share it with you and tell you what I know. And if you would like to get some of my homegrown lemongrass, by all means, text me, let me know. We sell many products, and I'll try to figure out how to post my product list down in the bottom so that people will be able to take opportunities of self-care. In the meantime and in between time, get enlivened. That's adding action, life, and spirit to your life. Enjoy and be blessed. Love you.